Isabel Oakeshott has popped up, and it is astonishing, given given that Reform UK is so small, how much news coverage they've got. Well, part of it is because of Isabel Oakeshott and her relationship with Richard Tice, and she's done a piece today in the Times, an apologetic, apocalyptic lament, dressed in the bunting of the Union flag, and her article combines a nostalgic ode to Britain's picturesque charms with a searing criticism of its alleged moral and structural decline. It reads like a cross between a Visit Britain brochure and a dystopian manifesto from 1984, with a dash of indignation and aimed at everyone from Ted Miliband to Santa Claus. At the heart of her argument is a stark assertion that Britain is dying. And she paints a picture of a nation overrun by unchecked immigration. I don't think that by unchecked immigration, Sharia courts and, curiously, bearded Santas in chains, I don't think that her reason for Britain's decline is correct. I think she's right to say that Britain is in decline. She's wrong to point the finger at immigration and this very, very obscure concept of Sharia courts. She juxtaposes this bleak vision with the enduring symbols of Britain's greatness: roast beef, beef eaters, and misty moors. And this dichotomy serves to both romanticise and lament. It's a rhetorical strategy, and she's good at rhetoric, designed to provoke both pride and panic. But it comes across as Call Me Dave rather more than the Matt Hancock diaries. But her criticism hinges on hyperbole and selective outrage. It's the pig on the plate rather than the analysing some of the more worrying aspects of the COVID outrage and Matt Hancock's cupboard escapades. She does an anecdote about a convicted terrorist suing a pub over its name. While inflammatory, it's a fringe case, not a harbinger of cultural collapse. And her assertion that public resentment stems from immigration rather than, say, austerity or housing shortages feels dangerously oversimplified and plays to a particular niche readership. Her commentary isn't limited to immigration alone. She skewers Britain's political class for incompetence and extravagance, and the infamous £100 million HS2 bat shield becomes emblematic of what she sees as government folly. She's right, but her solution, a nebulous call for robust new leaders to upset the status quo. It's not upsetting the status quo we need, it's establishing the status quo that we need. Her obsession, along with Farage and Richard Tice's obsession with causing a disturbance rather than creating a foundation, this is the problem. And her criticism of welfare and taxation veers again into familiar territory, the hard-working few bearing the burden for the idle many. It's a narrative that resonates with a certain segment of society, but it ignores the real issues like wage stagnation, the erosion of public services, and her disdain for woke culture. This is again a niche thing, a climate activism. It comes across as a theatrical gesture, playing to the very culture wars she claims to despise. Her history as a journalist provides context for her combative style, from co-authoring Call Me Dave with its infamous pig's head story to leaking Matt Hancock's WhatsApp messages. She's built a career on sensationalism and controversy and indiscretion. Her detractors accuse her of ethical lapses and prioritising personal gain over integrity, while her supporters laud her fearlessness and her commitment to public interest. But the irony of Oakeshott's warning lies in its tone, a call to arms for a nation she thinks is beyond saving, and a disdain for a political establishment that rings hollow because of her proximity to it, because of her participation within it. After all, she co-authored Hancock's pandemic memoirs before betraying her confidence, a move that raises ethical questions about her journalism. Oakeshott's piece is a masterclass in rhetorical alarm. She stirs emotion, but she offers nothing in the way of actionable solutions. Her vision of Britain's decline might well resonate with those disillusioned by modern politics, but its divisive framing risks alienating the very audiences that she tries to galvanise. She is as polarising as the topics that she tackles. Whether she's a fearless truth-teller or an opportunistic provocateur, one thing is certain: she knows how to make an impact, just as Farage does, even if it leaves us more bewildered than inspired. And I am not inspired by Isabel Oakeshott.